Hello, I'm back for the final lesson on Fritz, and I had left you with certain thoughts. I hope by today you have thought about how you would interpret the last section of the story. But remember the themes that we touched upon, the theme of friendship, the friendship of Joyanto and Shankar of the present, the friendship of Joyanto and Fritz of the past, all that you put in the Venn diagram to be carefully noted. You also need to pay attention to the descriptions of the circuit house as given, the small town of Bundi, the reason why Bundi was chosen for the holiday, the description of Fritz as a doll, and then, of course, the incidents that follow. But you must remember that memory is, as it's mentioned in the story, a strange business. Um, is it always factual? Is it distorted? Uh, when you think about incidents of the past, do you always recollect it exactly how it has occurred? There's no way for us to gauge the veracity of our memories. We assume certain things to be true. We assume certain things to be factual. We assume that they have happened as we recollect. But there is no scale to judge how true our recollections are, how true our memories are. The only thing that I can say in what happens in this story is uh, a memory becomes so tangible for Joyanto that it encroaches upon his present. Yes. And probably disturbs the equilibrium of his life at the present moment, right? So we'll keep all this in mind. There are quite a few red herrings. Like I said, you have Dilawar with a scar and red eyes, and but he's a good cook. So, is there anything about Dilawar connected with the doll? Is there anything about the uncle who had a probably a past that we don't know? He wanted to hide something about himself, and the doll comes as a camouflage of that? Or is it the shopkeeper who is hiding something back home and puts it together in the doll and sends it far off to India? There are lots of red herrings on the path. I will go with, like I believed in, about the story of the plastic doll by the Swiss makers built to perfection, right? But I would want you to think about your answer as we discuss it, right? The first question from the ISC specimen paper 2019, referring closely to the short story Fritz, relate why Joyanto wanted to visit Bundi instead of any other place. Very simple. The past, his parents had come for a holiday, brought him along as a 6 year old, and naturally he had lots of memories of the past. At that point in time, we are not writing anything about the mysterious aspects of his memories. Very close description of the past, the circuit house, as he remembers the circuit house, the description of the circuit house, the deodar tree, the fort of Bundi, the different roads, the cobbled roads, the jutting shutters, the windows, the beautiful architecture, all that are the memories of Bundi that Joyanto wants to recreate, and that's why another visit. This is a question which has three parts. So the first part is that. The second part, what does he tell the narrator about Fritz? So here you'll bring out the entire description of Fritz, the description of the doll in all details, every little, even to the little feather stuck onto the hat. The details, then what happened to Fritz and how Fritz was destroyed, till the point that he the past comes into the present. And remember, with that statement, Fritz came into our room last night, those little marks on my quills were his footprints. So how the entire detail about Fritz moves from the past, from the actual description of the doll, to memory, and then into something which is supernatural, right? But you're not going to talk about anything else about the discovery of the Fritz and that. Because remember, when there are different parts to the question, you should see what the last part is. What is your reaction to the end of the story? Here, you have to talk about the end of the story in detail. You have to mention how Shankar decided that seeing the absolute uneasiness and the anxiety and the absolute sense of discomfort that Jayanto was going through, thinking about that Fritz was alive, that Fritz, the doll, was a living reality, and that it had come back like a ghost to haunt him. He wanted uh, them to dig the spot under the deodar tree where he had buried Fritz, so that he could at least show Jayanto the buckles, the metals, all the pieces that are not destroyed over the have not been destroyed over the last 30 years, just to show that reality it was a doll. But then what happens? And then your estimate of what that indicates. Again, you have to justify it. If you have any queries about that, you're most free to mention it in the comment section. You're most free to write to me, and then we will have a discussion and come to a conclusion about what you think about the end of the story. Question 2. Fritz by Satyajit Ray is a narrative both entertaining and thought-provoking. Elaborate with close references to the story. Yes, it is entertaining. Definitely entertaining if you are a cynic, if you are a believer of science and uh, disdain anything that is supernatural and ghost and mystery. Of course, it is entertaining. Imagine what a fool of a man to think that a doll has come alive, and you're going to justify what they found inside the grave in your own inimitable style, I suppose. It is entertaining because it grips our attention. What is the quality of a story that entertains? The narrative description and also how gripping it is. So you see, the first part of a story is entertaining because it gives us a insight into the little town of Bundi. It has helped us to understand a bit about the architecture of the circuit house. Then the story of Fritz that comes in, and a child's absolute obsession with the doll. And it is thought provoking because how far does one allow a childhood memory to interfere with one's present? Yes. Was it the weakness of Jayanto, or was it brought about by the setting and the circumstances? If he goes back to where he belongs, this would be another memory for him. Or is it the truth? Yes. If it is the truth, then you have to give me a reason for this supernatural element that Satyajit Ray has created in the story, right? So it's up to you. The whole story is definitely entertaining and thought provoking. Yes. And finally, memory is a strange business. I quote from the story. This statement from Satyajit Ray's story Fritz illustrates how the past scripts are present. The past scripts are present. Memory and past synonymous. So again, use your Venn diagram, how the past has brought in the present. Because of the past memory, they are in Bundi. Otherwise, they would have been in Chittor or Jaipur or Udaipur. How the immediately coming to the same circuit house, staying in the same room, at the same dining table, the feel of the same chairs, the same ceiling, everything brings back the past into our present, right? And you justify this assertion highlighting the numerous incidents. So every little detail, narrative detail, will become a part of your answer. The strange business, the strange part of it, will be highlighted by what happens to the doll Fritz, and how the remains of the grave brings forth the absolute, probably the strangeness of this entire thought. Yes. So you, of course, the memory, the entire intention to recreate the images of the past, born? Is it repression? Is it anxiety, or is it uh, a very hard truth that is what Jointo is trying to disclose or finally let go? You know, when you want to let loose all the ghosts in the cupboard. Yes, it is, like I said, last part is totally up to you to find an answer to, right? So once this is done, now, like I told you, I hope you had a good understanding of the story. Um, and I have to go back to Tagore. I promised you in the beginning. The poem is in Bengali. It is from his the book Kotha, that is Legends, which he wrote in 1899, and the name of the poem is Nokol God. Nokol God. So it is not the real fort. They are built uh, uh, look alike for one reason. The king of Chittor wanted to destroy Bundi's fort, but the Rana of Bundi was very powerful, and the Chittor's Rana's chief ministers realized that he would lose, and losing it and not being able to destroy Bundi's fort would cause him immense pain. You know, because the ego of the Rajput rulers to be all powerful, almighty, um, is something that had to be preserved. So what they decided was, there was 6 kilometers distance between Chittor and Bundi. So they decided that they will make a look-alike clay fort, which they lead their king to destroy, and the king will return happy. But what happens there is what makes this poem so remarkable. Like I said, a sense of romance. So I'll narrate it to you in English, and those who know the language Bengali, I would really encourage you to read the poem Nokol God from Kotha, the collection. I will not touch water, thus did the Chittor Rana swear, till the Bundi fort standing there I can't abort. Alas, what an oath! Impregnable it is, the minister's court. You can venture it, but for ignoble defeat. The Rana says, if so, my oath will go. Chittor and Bundi fort are asunder, but only 6 miles from one to the other. The Haravangshi tribe there, daredevils as tigers they are. Random is their king Hamu's raid of any hazard. He is not afraid. All these the Rana heard about. Yes. Evidences now leave him no more doubt, and it is only 6 miles away. So the Rana will no more sway. Calls all his subservient, the minister. Thus all of them confer. Let's build a false fort tonight, that like Bundi will sight. Let the Rana with his hands on hit the fort and see it blown. Else, just his words to abide, he is heading for suicide. So the minister with his aides, the false fort near Chittor lays. Kumbho, a Harivangshi, Rana's vassal, yet with his bravery tribal on return from his stag hunt, shoulders with archery and load stunt, smells foul in the heresy. Early in the day, he cries aloud, who is there? With a false fort dare, obeys the Haravangshi Rajput, I will guard the fake castle astute. Comes Rana amidst bustle to smash the clay castle. Keep afar, your highness, a Proteus Kumbha says. A fake Bundi for a fake fight. Never I'll endure this slight. To defend that clay mound, today I'm duty bound. So does Kumbha thunder. Your highness, keep afar. On the ground sets his knees, shoots arrows in whiz. Kumbha alone wards off their sly plot to scoff. The Haravangshi glory in full fury. Rana's troops slay his head. all round surrounded, near the gateway of the fort for play. He drops dead, his blood crimson red sanctifies the castle clean in ablution of all vicious sin. So even if it is for a fake fort, he will not let the pride of the Rajput clan fall. He alone will defend the fort that belongs to his tribe and dies as a result of it. The result of what? Saving a fort that was not the real one. So that with that sense of valor and the sense of romanticism in poetry from Tagore's uh, Nakul God right up to the sense of supernatural in Satyajit Ray's story Fritz, I end my lesson for today. Hope you're thinking about the questions, penning down your answers. If you have any queries for me, please feel free to contact. I shall see you all soon. Stay safe.